Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we got some big Starfield news in today's episode with more key details on bounty hunting and future expansions, the procedurally generated areas and how much of it is actually in the game, evil decisions that can be made, and some really cool Starfield gear that is out now. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, the Comeback Kids are doing a giveaway for a free copy of Starfield, so make sure to stick around until the end of the video to learn more information on how you can win a free copy for yourself. Okay, now everybody knows that main story quests in games are super important, and for a lot of people, all they need to really feel fulfilled with the game is just that entirely. The thing is, when it comes to a game as large as Starfield, Skyrim, or Fallout 4, the main story questline is just a small speck of things to do along your journey. The game's director, Todd Howard, did an interview over at IGN answering a ton of questions about the Xbox Game Showcase that we're going to be breaking down a little bit today throughout the video. The interviewer asked Todd Howard, given the scale and scope of the game, I barely scratched the surface of what I was playing a little while ago. Thousands of planets and all this stuff going on, how much of it will the main story lead you towards? Todd Howard responded saying that they want to keep it manageable. Obviously, we will hit some high points, but not even. It's still a small fraction to what's in the game. There are some people that want to come to the game and complete the main story quest and feel that, okay, I've won, I could do something else. We're sitting here 12 years after Skyrim, and we're looking at a game that has over 60 million copies sold and all these people playing all of it to this day. We've learned that we need to build in from the beginning a game that has long-term playthroughs so people are hopefully playing Starfield a long time from now. Now, partially, when it comes to a game on this scale as large as Starfield, I think personally, the most incredible thing is that there are absolutely no chains or shackles on us when it comes to choosing a path in what we want to do. We have complete freedom to go and do whatever we want when we want to. I know whenever I kickstart one of my brand new playthroughs of Skyrim or Oblivion every once in a while, my absolutely favorite thing to do is to just pick a direction and just start walking through it and completing every dungeon, every encounter that I come across. This isn't one of those games where you need to have a set path and do the same thing over and over. This may seem absolutely crazy, but I put in hundreds of hours inside of Skyrim, and I've never beaten the main story questline. I love experiencing something brand new and discovering new creatures and encounters every time, and Starfield is going to be absolutely flooded with this type of content, which has me at the edge of my seat, ready to play. In this game, we're getting fresh experiences, dialogue options, and story, and it's going to be a goldmine of content for people wanting to discover more than just the main story. What attests to this even more is that they even spoke about random encounters happening inside of Starfield as well. The interviewer stated that one of my favorite moments from Oblivion was that I randomly found a unicorn in the forest. Are there like 50 or so kinds of things like this in this game? Todd Howard replied, simply saying that there's a good number of them and that there is a lot. I don't want to spoil what they are, but we love that kind of stuff. We have some really special ones in this game that I think I'm very curious to see how long after the game is out that people will discover them. Now, in the Gameplay Direct Showcase, we saw some really cool things like bounty hunters hunting you down, encountering space pirates throughout space, or traders willing to exchange goods with you as well. I'm really curious, though, to see if there's going to be anything really out of the ordinary, like maybe as you're traveling throughout space, you just fly into a big space battle between two factions, and you could sort of decide who you want to help or assist. Maybe some random giant space creatures you have to fight inside of space, or even a black hole that you could possibly enter to see what's on the other side. Either way, I think we're going to have our hands full, and people that love exploring games are going to encounter a lot of this kind of stuff, and I can't wait to see all of it post-launch. Of course, to make a game this size, they needed to procedurally generate some stuff into the game, because there's no way they can hand create over 1,000 different planets with probably tens of thousands of locations and things to discover. They also touched on this in the interview, with the question being, the 1,000 planets number is the big one that you've been throwing out. What's the ratio of the procedurally generated stuff to the handcrafted stuff? Todd Howard responded saying that the planet's landscapes themselves are pretty much all procedural. They make these large tiles that are generated, and those get wrapped around the planet. As far as the handcrafted content, they've created more in Starfield than any other game they've ever done. It's more than Skyrim and Fallout 4 combined, just in dialogue. So how this is going to work, ladies and gentlemen, is that a lot of the procedurally generated stuff is going to have handcrafted locations, cities, landmarks within them inside, and then it's going to contain, you know, NPCs that are going to offer you side quests, sending you out to a bunch of locations, different planets, pretty much all of that handcrafted, unique Bethesda type of game that's deep and rich with gameplay and lore and story out there. Now, a big topic over on Reddit was that Because of this game having so much freedom, do you think Starfield will have more evil / sinister choices to be made more than Fallout or even previous Bethesda games? This has had the community go crazy, hoping that how evil you could just be through the roof, going as far as maybe blowing up an entire planet, or maybe even being some sort of evil warlord of a captain that goes around, whether it be on a quest line or somehow on your own, to destroy entire planets and conquer the galaxy. I think that would be insane for a playthrough on at least one of my characters that a lot of people would enjoy as well. Remember that it's definitely possible just to go around and start killing the population in Skyrim and Fallout, so it's definitely more than likely that's going to be the option in same case in Starfield. Now, if you enjoyed the thought of being a bounty hunter, listen up, because we might have some juicy information on this to unveil to you. You do have to know that it was confirmed in the Starfield Direct gameplay preview that the bounty hunting profession was sort of name dropped by them, saying, and I quote, "Maybe you start off with a speedy fighter that's perfect for bounty hunting." Now, of course, we can't take everything as 100% confirmation, but this definitely confirms bounty hunting in some sort of way. Maybe we're going to be chasing down bounties inside of space combat, because why else would we need a speedy fighter perfect for traveling between planets or engaging in combat with other people? Definitely because it's perfect for chasing someone you're after. Also, like Skyrim, there is actually a bounty system in the game that we got a sneak peek at as well. As you can see on the top right of your screen, it's listed that there is a bounty on this player from the United Colonies faction in this system. It's going to be really interesting to see if it's possible for NPCs to obtain bounties like yourself, and then after that you can capture them or sort of freeze them in a cryo state to bring them in for a bigger bounty reward. Again, this is speculation and me definitely trying to piece together a bunch of minor info, but I don't see why it can't be a possibility in a game as large and in-depth as this one. On top of it, there was a bounty hunting background that you could select as one of your 3 perks in the character creation, but we sadly didn't get to see the perks or description of the background. But inside of the gameplay direct preview, there was a man that wanted a beast hunter, and if you were a beast hunter, you would get paid more. If I had to take a guess, it's probably going to be the same as the beast hunter, but for other people as well, rather than beasts. It's also very interesting to see that if you select this trait, maybe you can potentially get side quests specifically just from this background also. Lastly, inside the gameplay direct, there was some footage of showing us about the wanted trait that you can acquire. This shows that bounty hunters can come after you by themselves, and this just confirms that the existence of bounty hunting inside of Starfield is going to be really big, and even the bounty hunters, they showed up, they had a really large ship, perhaps for capturing multiple targets. Lastly, there might be some sort of faction that could be joinable called the Ecliptic Mercenaries. Their armor looks a lot like the bounty hunters that went to go hunt you down earlier that we showed, and a lot of us over on Reddit and the Discord are really hoping for some sort of bounty hunter guild and quest line that you might be able to be a part of, similar to the Dark Brotherhood inside of Skyrim. To wrap up more information on this interview, it was confirmed that they are going to do a lot of add-on and expansion content for Starfield. Both them and their fans love that they do it, and they actually announced that they're going to do a story expansion pack that's going to be coming very soon. So no matter what the size of the game is, there's still things they want to add as far as features in the future or stories and things like that. So ladies and gentlemen, if you're hoping to play Starfield for even longer than anticipated, it looks like you got some good news, because expansions and add-on content is going to be definitely continuously coming throughout Starfield's lifetime. We also got some interesting news when it comes to Starfield going gold. A user over on Twitter stated that they want to know when the game is technically going gold and when is the pre-download as well. Pete Hines, the head of publishing for Bethesda, stated that everyone needs to take a deep breath and that they have an amazing team and they know what they're doing. Now listen, the term going gold for a video game means that the development cycle has officially ended and the game is ready to be shipped. By the way, it's important to note that sometimes games will go gold too soon, and these unfortunately ship in a pretty poor state, and often they're riddled with bugs and glitches, whatever. Usually those are fixed with a day one patch to resolve some issues on the very first day as much as they can as the game's getting released. So the concern over fans is that the game hasn't been officially, announced by the team that they are gold, but unfortunately, we're not going to be able to know anything until they make some sort of official announcement. But keep in mind, it isn't mandatory for a company to announce when the game has gone gold either. Lastly, Starfield adds a special edition chair to its growing list of accessories. So if you're in the market for a new computer chair, get ready, because we have something very exciting for you. What you're seeing on screen right now is the Starfield edition chair from Noble Chairs, and it actually looks really, really awesome, but it is for the crazy price of over $700. With other Bethesda game releases like Elder Scrolls Skyrim, Fallout, and Doom, they had custom chairs like this as well. So if you're interested, go check it out. Now, like in a lot of adventure games, there are many ways to complete the game for each player. For example, in Hogwarts Legacy, there are a ton of different challenges and things to 100% complete every single area in the game. And Starfield is definitely going to follow that pattern. As you can see on screen here, as you are scanning a certain planet, on the left side, you can see that there are resources, fauna, flora, and it also shows you a tracker of how many you've scanned on the planet. Now, with the crazy amount of planets, plant life, and life in general, how many of you are actually planning on scanning planets to 100%? I thought this was a very interesting question to ask also, and the question is going to be, what are you most excited for when it comes to playing Starfield? Is it getting your own spaceship, companions, combat, exploration? Let us know in the comment section below, as we would love to talk with you all. If you guys are interested in seeing more Starfield content, don't forget to consider subscribing. And also, back to that giveaway, the Comeback Kids are doing a giveaway for a free copy of Starfield. So if you're interested, please visit the link in the description below to find out more details on how you could win that. That's going to be all from me, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank you all so much for the love and support. Until the very end, my name is Sky from the Comeback Kids. I will see you all in the next one. Peace!